Hello, everybody. It is Sunday. It is fun day, and you're here with the Brunch Busters here on Bustin' Out. You've reached the bus station. I am Bobby Munson, that man beside me, Mr. Chris Parrish. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. I'm tired as fuck, but I'm alive. So, how are you doing?
That happened. I'm doing fantastic. Definitely not tired, but yeah, I guess fatigue kicks in when you're a busy man. Tell us about it. How come the fatigue this morning here?
Because I just got home from Lethbridge about 3 hours ago. So that would
Well, I thought.
So it's a little bit of the road work, warrior work. So yeah, no, did a great show over at a Pure Power Wrestling last night, finale, so to speak. So yeah, went very well, but yeah, a little bit on the tired. Hopefully, there's a snooze button over on the bus station.
Somewhere where you can take a nap. I think we got a cot somewhere in the back there to be able to catch up on a little bit of the Z's after the show definitely comes off the air. But in the meantime and in between time, we're definitely on the air. And you know what else keeps us on the air aside from the wonderful people who tune in each and every Sunday? I'm talking about our friends over at Rogue Energy, rogueenergy.com, where you can use the promo code OLEPODS to get 10% off your order if you're looking for an alternative to the average everyday energy drink that you find at the stores. You're looking for something that is sugar-free, low-calorie, vegan-friendly, and boasting with flavors, then Rogue Energy is right for you. And while we get a few more people in here, get settled and ready to go, let's go to a quick commercial break from our friends over at Rogue Energy. There you have it, rogueenergy.com, using that promo code OLEPODS for 10% off your order. And joining us this morning, Jupiter Vision. Good morning, sir. Good morning. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us. Glad that you were able to join us here at the bus station. You've reached your destination. So buckle on in and just find out how far off the rails we're going to go here today. Parrish, should we talk wrestling? Do we talk about that here?
We could talk a little bit of wrestling. Yeah. Not a bad week, actually. I don't know if you know, but if we go all the way back to Monday night, we had an hour-free Monday Night Raw where we saw women involvement for mostly the entire hour.
What? That's unheard of. No.
So if any promoters there that, I don't know, like to only use women around, say, I don't know, the 9:30 mark, you might want to do a little bit of homework and see, hey, still have a great product booking these women for a freaking hour.
Yeah. Well, who figured that would be something people would be interested in these days? You know, it's amazing though, and good on them for taking the opportunity to do it. Again, they're trying to find ways to make that 3 hours pass by a little better, and the fact that they were able to give that hour commercial free really says a lot, and it made it so that people tuned in. Again, the ratings, from what I understand, have been rock solid with these shows and trying these different things and giving people a little bit of that. You never know what they might try next is playing a big factor in keeping those ratings up for WWE at the moment.
Yeah. And I think it's just it's a great way to keep things fresh too. You don't always have to open up your show the exact same way every week. Make every person matter on the show, and by doing that, you gotta use different people in different situations. And it's one thing I just love about watching WWE again is that every single character seems like it has something important going on. And we saw that with Becky Lynch opening up Monday Night Raw. And for the first time ever, we're primed to get a Becky Lynch versus Bayley feud on the main roster. Who would have thought, like 7 years after the fact, after all their NXT success, we're finally getting a first between two members of the Four Horsewomen.
Well, and you've been calling for it for quite some time. You've said multiple times here on the show before that, this is the way they should be going. This is what you were looking forward to. And again, that is a great plan for them. The fact that it hasn't happened, that it's been this long, and we have not had this feud before is incredible. But at the same time, it's incredible in a great way because that separation now gives us something that we clearly haven't seen, something that we can be excited about and invested in between two great professionals at the top of their game. This could go either way when it comes to these two locking up. Again, Becky is, not afraid to put somebody over. And at the same time, Bayley could really use getting some of that heat back. I think this feud could do wonders, definitely for Bayley, revitalizing her a little bit. But in terms of Becky, I don't think it can ever do her any harm. Doesn't matter what direction it goes, because I think she's kind of broke through that glass ceiling enough to the point where I don't think it would take a lot to really pull her back down.
Yeah, and I think if people rewatch that Survivor Series War Game, what we saw is these two really kind of stand out in that match as well. And the one thing I like about watching these two work specifically is that there's just a different level of intensity that they bring. Like just watching them trade off inside War Games just felt different, and it just felt like it's almost like when you're watching wrestling back in the day and you're watching the main event, the world title feud, it just felt different than anything else on the show, right? And that's kind of a similar feel I get. They're just two more polished performers when it comes to that women's division. And I just thought it was absolutely great to finally pull the trigger on a feud between these two, because Bayley is doing very well on the heel side. Becky is doing very well on the babyface side. She somehow still evolved her game as a babyface inside War Games after one match coming back from her injury. It was just amazing how she's still capable of taking that next step. And then now with Bayley kind of failing to beat Bianca Belair for that women's championship, needed something to fall back to. And what better way just to connect these two? So they're using each other as that stepping stone to get to the championship now. So it's just a great storytelling way, and it's just great character involvement and development as well.
Yeah, and you might add a big hello to Mr. Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, my man, how you doing today? He says, "What's up, brothers?" As usual, we're just stopped in at the bus station right here, talking a little bit of wrestling because that's the general theme of Busting Out. I'm sure we will manage to get off topic here soon enough. So help us out, throw us off topic somehow.
Oh yeah.
But yes, it's again going back to this again. The fact that we haven't seen it, that's a great opportunity. Do you feel like this one leads to a singles match going into Royal Rumble time, or do they draw this one out a little bit longer? Is this maybe a pre-setup towards WrestleMania, or do you think that this one's going to immediately pay off come Royal Rumble?
I think a Royal Rumble match makes a lot of sense, but if you want to slow play this, you don't have to do a match at Royal Rumble. You can have these two fight within the match at Royal Rumble, and then maybe lead to a match at maybe Elimination Chamber or something else. The one thing I just hope they don't do is completely give it to us on free on Raw.
Yeah.
And that to me would be the mistake, because again, this would be the first match they have one-on-one on the main roster. And I just feel like you got to make this matter. So yeah, like it's interesting to me kind of on, the timing and, how they're going to do it. But, given the build they did this by on Monday, and just having Becky kind of be in the crowd and having Bob, the random fan, kind of like, I don't know, the way they just did it was like so fresh and so great, that it just amplified me wanting to see this match a little bit. So as long as they use Raw as a platform to do that, it's really whatever they want. But I have no problem if they want to slow burn this one at all.
Yeah, and a slow burn would be fantastic. Again, you mentioned about them potentially locking up inside the Rumble match itself. That is where the build could really start. We know, well, I mean, it already has slowly started, but what we could end up seeing happen is one of the other one costing them their opportunity in the Royal Rumble matchup. Flash forward to Elimination Chamber. They can also cost each other within the Elimination Chamber. This is very possible for that to flesh out within that creation, only for them to eventually have their one-on-one at WrestleMania. And I think that would be long-term story booking in a modern world that would click well with the fans and has enough time to flesh out to make it very, very interesting and to make a match that I feel will be strong and big on a card where we know from rumors so far, this is going to be a very big WrestleMania.
Yeah. What I would actually love to see, would be maybe a match between these two on Raw, but you give them the stakes of the winner gets to choose the loser's entry number. So maybe Becky pulls out the win and chooses, or maybe Bayley sneaks out the win, and chooses number 1 for Becky Lynch, only for Bayley to use her pawns, Io Sky and Dakota Kai, to be the ones who try to do her dirty work in the Rumble match. So then by the time Bayley's in that match, she doesn't have a Becky to worry about. It's those kind of stories I wouldn't be against them doing, because now we get to see a little bit more strategy done in that Royal Rumble. Because again, if you're a heel going into the Rumble and you're not trying to get that advantage with a late entry or with an easier road, then what are you doing?
Yeah, and again, you talk about them having the match. It doesn't necessarily have to be them. You could almost have it be where it's it could be a tag match. It could be a 3 versus 3 match for that matter with that stipulation, while keeping the separation of a one-on-one encounter between these two women far enough away. And Jupiter Vision have to run to watch my little girl, but idling support. Awesome. Really appreciate you stopping by, even if it is just in terms of support. Anytime you can stop by and help us out here at the bus station, much appreciated. Much love, and thank you for tuning in and being there for us. We really do appreciate you. But yeah, I think we can keep that one-on-one separation long enough. Again, WrestleMania needs to feel big this year. I know Triple H is going to want it to feel big, considering that this is the first one with him in charge. He wants people to remember it. So I think he's going to go for broke with it. He's going to go for every top match that he can possibly bill on this card. He's going to allow people to go out there and have matches that people are going to remember, people are going to talk about, things that they're going to say, damn, that WrestleMania was like the definitive WrestleMania. That was the moment that the company's voice completely changed, and people were ready and excited for WrestleMania all over again. This is what could draw people who haven't watched in a long time back, if the build is done right and the execution is done even better.
Yeah, and this is kind of the exciting part to being a fan again, because we know we're on that road to WrestleMania. We know that the Royal Rumble is coming up. It is the next PLE in the schedule for WWE's main roster. We know that NXT has Deadline coming up, but that's NXT. That's not the main roster. So it's going to be very interesting to see kind of how they use this time. There is a lot of time slotted for the buildup of this year's Royal Rumble, and whether or not it's a big name, big return, you have opportunities to go big this coming season, and it's going to be very fun to watch. And I can't wait, because again, we have possibly Charlotte coming back. You never know if Sasha or Naomi are coming back. You don't know who's returning, because just in the last month, we saw Mia Yim, and just on Friday, we saw Tegan Knox come back. So you just don't know anymore.
If I'm not mistaken, speaking of Bayley, wasn't Tegan Knox one of the ones she had originally pitched to be in Damage Control before the idea became about her utilizing Io Sky and also Dakota Kai instead?
Yeah, I don't remember the specifics, but you could be right. And I do believe at some point we might see Tegan Knox in Damage Control. I do believe there's a rhyme and reason and a big reason for Tegan Knox to come back. I would love to see some form of Kindle ship being recreated between her and Dakota.
Well, it just seems like that was the tag team that was supposed to be in the first place, and very well could end up being the tag team that the WWE needs, especially if they're going to continue down the path of a women's tag team division. Then you need ones that make sense. And again, with that history there, and these two being able to work so well together, that inevitably you can put that team back together and have them tear it up in the women's division as the tag champs eventually.
Yeah, and another one I would love to see back would be the Iconics. I think that's just a natural pick if it's doable, if both parties are willing to. I know one is away trying to start a family, but we haven't. It's not like we haven't seen that stop people from getting in the ring. We've seen Becky Lynch take some time to go do that, come back strong. We've seen Lacey Evans do the same thing. So who's to say at this point, I mean, pro wrestlers, when they want to do something, they're going to do it. And just like Ed, when he wants to come and say hello, he's going to come in and say hello. Hello, how are you?
Ed, the host of Variant Wrestling Realities, as well as Marvel Talk right here on our local establishment as well. I was honored to be able to join both Ed and this man right here, Mr. Andre, that Canada dude, recently talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. That was an awesome time right there. So anyone wants to check out the replay, check out our local establishment. Yes, I am Groot. Mr. Spoiler alert. Anyway, yeah, you guys can check that out. Ed and Andre do fantastic work. Along with Cody, they did the Black Panther review and all that kind of stuff. That is also up on our local establishment. We should hopefully see some more Variant Wrestling Realities coming soon as well from Ed. So a lot of great stuff that you can check out here as well too. So big shout out to everybody who's making content and show love and support to everybody. That's what we're all about here at our local establishment.
That is the OLE way.
Yes. OLE twice a day. Something like that, I hear.
But yeah, no, it's great to see kind of where they're going with the progression of the women's development right now. And it's great that there's emphasis on making that division deeper. There's emphasis on making everyone in that division busy with something. And it's just going to be amazing to see kind of what the WrestleMania looks like. And I believe we're going to see more women involvement, more matches with women that don't have titles, just more huge matches. Also, I'll make this as a prediction. I feel we're going to get Evolution 2 at some point. Like, here's the thing. I'll do a hot take. I think Evolution 2 happens in 2023.
And you know what? I'm not going to try to argue that with you because all signs are pointing there to begin with right now. You can't deny it. That's seemingly what they're building up to, and so they should be building up to. It only makes sense to me. The women should be given an opportunity. It's not a gimmick PLE. They want to get away from gimmick PLEs. This is just an opportunity for the women to showcase exactly what they're all about and do the great things that they're doing for the WWE right now. And I think it would be a total injustice if they didn't do it.
Yeah. And so yeah, and to me that was a standout of this week. But what a guilty pleasure of me this week in professional wrestling. And that was one of the last things I saw in my calendar week. Well, not calendar week, but my Monday to Friday. And that was Santos Escobar versus Ricochet in the finals for the SmackDown World Cup. And boy, did that match deliver. These two just put on an amazing match. A match that I know we all kind of looked and be like, okay, these guys are going to do some good stuff. But I don't know if we thought we wanted maybe this to be an everyday thing. But these guys absolutely tore the house down. I thought they did a great job managing LDF from ringside to make this a true one-on-one. And by doing that, they allowed Ricochet to pick up that win, bringing back the 630, which I thought was a great finishing touch. But yeah, Ricochet is your SmackDown World Cup champion for 2022.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that one?
If you would have asked me a year ago, I'd say there's no absolute way this was going to happen. But clearly, Triple H, a big fan of Ricochet and his work, has a lot of faith in him and wants to push him in the right direction. And again, he's showing quality inside that ring, and that's exactly what we got from that. It was nice to see. It harkened back to a time when SmackDown was known to be more of the wrestling show than what Monday Night Raw was. You usually got 2 hours, most of that filled with some great professional wrestling. And it seems like more so than not lately, that's exactly what SmackDown has been. It's been the more wrestling-centric show of WWE's during the week, and that's what's made Friday nights that much more excitement. Because if you want that quality wrestling, you know that at least one or two of the matches on that card are going to give you just that. And that's exactly what got delivered on Friday night. Again, kudos to Ricochet for going through this and winning it, taking that big spot. I hope this only means great things for him moving forward. It seems like, again, some of these people that had almost been forgotten about are starting to get a new breath of life under Triple H. It's best in the world, something like that. I think that's where Ed was going.
Yeah, I didn't miss it. But yeah, I love that they made this tournament matter. I love that there was definitely a fight. I love how at the end we saw Gunther, Ricochet face off. I thought this does a lot to kind of help that prestige on that Intercontinental Championship. You now just did some. So now what you got to do is you got to deliver for that in that Intercontinental title match. So my thing is, do we see a title change to help establish what this tournament is, or do we see something else? Because again, as you say, all signs point to Strowman versus Gunther. But what if Gunther is there to be spoiled by Strowman? We saw that partnership between Ricochet and Strowman after their match. They kind of partnered up to fight off Imperium kind of after their one-on-one in that semifinals. Do we see Strowman helping out Ricochet opposed to going after Gunther for himself?
Now, the only way I could see that being a viable option is if you have bigger plans for Gunther in the immediate future. If there's plans for him to go to the top of the card and be out of that, mid-card title picture, then certainly but other than that, no, I don't think the timing would be right to pull it off of Gunther to put it on Ricochet just because Ricochet's riding a high currently at the moment. I think that the establishment of making those titles mean something is going to be built in having a strong champion like Gunther has been so far. And I think to keep establishing him as an unstoppable heel is only going to help his credibility going into WrestleMania season. Again, because there's a long list of people that have been rumored as potential opponents to take on Gunther at WrestleMania this year. So obviously the company has big plans in store. Whether or not that means they want to highlight an Intercontinental title match in that case, or if they just want him to be in a big WrestleMania spot is yet to be seen. I think it would be great if the Intercontinental title was, shown and displayed at a WrestleMania in that capacity where you have someone as strong as Gunther defending against a big name talent.
Yeah, I know one of the names that has been thrown out of possible opponents for Gunther at WrestleMania is Brock Lesnar, and just how different of a feel would it be if that match was for the Intercontinental title? Oh, yeah. How different would it feel if Brock Lesnar was Intercontinental champion? Something, again, we've never could say, but it just seems very kind of odd because, why wouldn't we have Sheamus be the guy that takes off that Intercontinental title. But at the same time, what better way to make Ricochet look like that underdog superhero who could do the unthinkable if he did become the guy that took down Gunther and won that title back? I don't know. It's hard to say what direction they want to go, because if the direction was to take that Intercontinental title off Gunther so that could help propel Gunther to that next step, and that next step would be the World Championship, okay, I can understand if they want to do this now. But as you said, you can still do that without it needing to be WrestleMania. You don't have to do that right away. But at the same time, if the story is right, the story is right. And I care more about if the story is the right one to tell than timing. So, yeah.
Well, it seems like they got a lot of good stories to tell at the moment.
Yeah.
Again, nobody's going to be complaining about watching Gunther have to take down, big Braun Strowman or anything. Hopefully that's not the WrestleMania direction for sure, but I can't see that it is. I think that'll run out of steam long before WrestleMania. Again, another name that was thrown around was John Cena as another opponent potential for Gunther. Any of these names that have been tossed around seem like a big opportunity for the big man. And again, putting that Intercontinental title on the line at WrestleMania, that might be is that the first time in quite some time? I'm trying to recall the last time I at least remember a prominent Intercontinental title match at a WrestleMania card.
The last one I truly remember is that triple threat between Miz, Finn, and Seth.
Okay. Yeah.
And maybe that's not the last one, but that's the last big one, I feel. Because I know they did the ladder matches, and I think that was at 31.
Yeah.
Where Daniel Bryan won. I know they did one at I think it was 32 where Zack Ryder won. But yeah, it's far and few between. There's not a lot of great Intercontinental matches at WrestleMania lately, and that's a shame. And it'd be really nice to have a marquee match that also has the Intercontinental Championship part of it. So.
Well, and we know it's possible with the U.S. title. You could have both championships defended on opposite days. Do we?
And he's right.
Match?
That was a match for the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, that was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was a WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Anyway, sorry.
I get confused with WrestleMania, and then when they do WrestleMania Backlash, which I still think is the dumbest thing that company has does.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Why does WrestleMania need to be a show and then a hangover show as well? To me, it just makes zero sense.
Yeah, it's just Backlash. We get it. We didn't need the addition of the WrestleMania name in it. We always understood Backlash was the wrestling-centric pay-per-view or PLE that came following WrestleMania. And it's fine. We always got it. We're not stupid.
Yeah. With the match that I proposed, I again, to this point, I couldn't even told you until he said something if that was WrestleMania or the WrestleMania Backlash. But I think he was right. I think it was a day one or maybe an early day two kind of match. But yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't really remember it to be too much. I know the match was better than it was expected to be.
I just remember a whole bunch of gimmicky shit on the outside and really having no factor on the match itself as usual. But it is what it is. But again, I would love to see I'd love to see all the titles really get a proper display this year at WrestleMania. You got 2 days worth of WrestleMania, and I guarantee, even though they've been keeping premium live events tight as of late, I guarantee each night of WrestleMania is got to be going a minimum 4 hours. I'd imagine.
I think all championships are going to be contested at WrestleMania in 2023.
Yeah.
It'd be hard pressed for Triple H, somebody who's put in a lot of effort to make these championships matter again and the stories around the championships, if he doesn't have them represented at the biggest show of the year. I do think that's going to be one thing we go back and look at and be like, you know what? That was really cool.
Yeah, because I mean,
So,
you arguably have Austin Theory if he's still holding on to the belt, and there's been rumors of him and John Cena maybe working a program. Of course, you've got the main championship.
I also say this: if Austin Theory and John Cena cannot happen, I do believe Austin Theory is the best candidate for a match against Stone Cold Steve Austin if he's to come back and have another match.
Well, especially after last year getting stunned by him and everything like that too, it would work its way in quite nicely. If Theory and Austin wasn't the case, who on the roster would you personally feel be best suited to work a match with Stone Cold if he comes back?
So this was actually a conversation in the car ride.
Nice.
So that's kind of why, in a way, I brought it up. I know that AJ Styles could be a big possibility. And here's my dark horse. If you really want this guy to be the main marquee guy, Solo Sikoa.
Interesting.
That would be my dark horse.
And a dark horse that would be as well too. You definitely going to be relying heavily on Austin in terms of selling the I don't want to say entertainment side, but definitely carrying the promo side of this one because they've kept Solo as kind of that silent assassin. So I get where you're going with this for sure. And if they want to make him a main player, this would be great. At the same time, do you put it in the hands of someone, and I don't want to say that he's green, but somebody who's still relatively new, or do you want to keep Austin a little bit protected and get him in there with somebody with a little bit more experience than a Solo Sikoa?
My thing is, when I say Solo, if you want Solo to look like that badass, what better way to have him beat up Stone Cold Steve Austin and kind of maim Stone Cold. By what you're saying, if I want a guy that could hold it on his own on a promo, LA Knight is my pick.
Yeah, that's clear that he can hold it there as well too, big time. As we got Mel Ball joining us at this point, gentlemen.
Ooh,
gentlemen,
you got to use that term a little loosely here at Bustin' Out, all right?
I think that's what my name tag says on my desk. A gentleman, Bobby Munson. It's got a nice ring to it.
I'll be gentle dude, Chris Parrish.
Gentle dude, Chris Parrish. The gentle papa. Well, were we talking about something? Oh, yeah, we're talking about wrestling.
Yeah, talking about who could possibly face a Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. That's also like the nice caveat I think Triple H does have for this coming WrestleMania. Oh, yeah, I'm going to put together my first WrestleMania, and who do I have at my helm of possible big names for matches? Oh, yeah, I got Brock Lesnar, Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena. There's this Dwayne guy that I
might have him.
Yeah, I hear he's pretty big in Hollywood. And I got Roman Reigns and his I've held the title for entirety of human life. So I also have that.
Oh, I've also potentially got the return of one Cody Rhodes. I've got the potential return of Charlotte Flair on my hands. I've got all these people that I've currently got. I've got this Bray Wyatt guy who sells like $2 billion worth of shirts per day. No big deal.
And possibly maybe even Nick Aldis or Matt Cardona.
Yeah.
Just to name a few people that are important to the wrestling landscape of today.
But he's not name dropping.
No, at all.
No.
That wouldn't be his style.
No. But I mean,
have you played a game?
Not only does this
dropping out those names.
This not only makes me believe that we're on the way to a big WrestleMania, but on the way to a big Royal Rumble. Those names could be surprise entrants in the Royal Rumble. I mean, I keep saying it. I think Cody Rhodes being a surprise entrant in the Royal fellas. We can do it that's I like that.
I know. I made something up. It hurt my shoulder, but I made something up.
I'm actually a little tender today. I actually went and lifted some weights yesterday, so trying to turn a little bit of the extra old man skin into some saggy muscle skin. I don't know, something like that.
I'm trying to rise up in cup size this year, so I need that energy workout, man.
That's your New Year's resolution, is to go up in cup size.
Yeah, that's how I want to bust out in 2023.
That's why we could start marketing busting out bros. Bra.
There we go, people. We went off the rails. Go figure.
Yeah. That only took, look at that. Hey, we went 40 minutes of what seemed like a regular talk show at Television.
Yeah. That's like Tony Khan putting in a women's match before 9:30.
It's never going to happen, I tell you.
At the very least, we have no more interim champions. At the very least, we have that.
Until next week.
So let's actually jump over to AEW for a second.
Okay.
Because what we saw on Dynamite was MJF bringing out the Burberry AEW World title.
The Burberry big belt.
Well, I'm not going to call a championship that. So, but your thoughts on the design, because personally, it was hard to see from a distance. Maybe that's just my poor eyesight. I don't know.
I could clearly see it, but at the same time, I thought it was funny because he gets in there and just starts shit talking the belt. This is not a championship. This thing is garbage, like every single one of you in the audience, and he just tosses it outside the ring. Like this is about as meaningful as every person who's held it before me, and just dumps this thing like a piece of trash. And then when he unveils the Burberry big belt, the Triple B as he calls it, he unveils it, and it's nothing more than an altered strap of the belt that he just said was complete garbage. I thought this was hilarious. MJF is a funny man. He knows how to be a perfect heel. I love the fact that he says there's not going to be any more of giving this stuff away on free television. I am a special attraction at this point. And if you want to see me defend this belt, you're going to have to pony up a little tiny bits of money that you losers are able to scrounge up to buy a pay-per-view in order to watch it.
A little bit of money.
Yeah.
The irony was that.
Oh, it was just fantastic. Everything he said.
I'm rich, but I want your 8 cents now.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Tell me MJF isn't a damn star. Like, this was the perfect move for their company.
He is, but you got to find the funny aspect of, like, some of the things he says, too.
Oh, I agree. Totally. And I mean, this is what I love about MJF. He does everything he does brilliantly, and this was the right move for their company. I'm invested in this portion of it, and so you should be. You should be invested in who the champion is at a company, and I'm invested in MJF. I might not be completely full on with what they've got going on right now. There's some stuff over there I'm just not the biggest fan of, but MJF will make me turn the channel any day of the week. This guy is probably one of the favorite things I got going in all of professional wrestling right now. Whether he's in a match or whether he's on a microphone, he's just absolutely killing it. But speaking of killing it, he kind of got the opportunity to kill off a beloved AEW temporary worker in the form of one William Regal at the end of this thing.
It wasn't the best killing off, though. We saw better killing off in Impact Wrestling. But yes, we can proceed with this one.
Yes. So anyway, as he's saying all these beautiful, wonderful things about Regal and everything like that, that's when the brass necks come out and shot to the back of the neck of one William Regal, who's had many surgeries on that, takes him out completely to the point where they had to put a brace on Regal's neck, take him out on a stretcher, really selling the idea that MJF is the biggest SOB on the planet. And this fuels the speculation of the rumors that people are hearing right now that William Regal could be on his way back to the WWE. What are your thoughts on that switch so soon after he went over to the AEW?
Good. Go where you are going to be happy. If the rumors are true and he has an out clause in his contract, good for you. That's why you put it in. If that's the case, that's just being a smart, seasoned veteran when it comes to contract negotiation. If this is all the true. Also, one of the best things WWE had in William Regal was William Regal's ability to scout talent for that company. So if he was to go back and do the same thing, that's a huge win for WWE. Also, if this is all true, it just adds to my speculation that William Regal was just very, 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 very sad that he couldn't go War Games.
He might have to wait a whole other year to be able to fit that one in, as Astrid said. He did what he could to get the title, so he doesn't need him anymore. It fits MJF's character. Everything devilish fits MJF's character. That's what it comes down to. If it's greasy, dirty, and makes you want to slap him in the face, that's MJF in a nutshell right there. And saying, I'm only shocked MJF didn't turn on him the night after he won the title. Well, he kind of did. Maybe not directly the night after, but the first televised night after winning the title, he definitely turned on him. So, I mean, he kept him in his Rolodex for 4 days. Maybe they went out to a pub and they had a brew, watched, some World Cup soccer or something like that. Maybe that's why MJF was so ticked, because he's like my partner here, Chris Parrish, so pissed off that he had to watch a game of soccer that he just couldn't take it anymore. And he turned on Regal as a result.
Oh, come on. We know that I get just as fiery watching my Saints or my Oilers play at times. I just love now that watching my Oilers are getting to the point where it's like, oh, I always joke that I'm having a heart attack. Yet now that they're calling the team Cardiac Kids, it all makes sense. Like, my God. But kind of going back to it, like it does make a lot of sense for MJF to do what he does. But at the same time, like, the one thing I can't stand with AEW is their ability to rush a story for the sake of that cheap initial reaction. And they did such a great job with MJF on letting that story breathe, whether it's through CM Punk, whether it's through that rise to become champion. They do all this stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like William Regal turns on Moxley and helps MJF win. Awesome. But now it's like, okay, there is like zero to look forward to between this thing now. It's like you get no resolution between Moxley and Regal. You now kind of kill that relationship between MJF and Regal. If this doesn't start up the Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson MJF feud right away, I have no idea where this led. And to me, that's a massive fail already.
Yeah.
With MJF's world title.
Well, and he mentioned Bryan Danielson within this promo as well too, and stuff like that. Just so I guess, yeah. If it doesn't lead there, if all roads don't lead to that matchup and that feud, then yeah, you're really missing the boat. But again, I got to ask: do you want that to happen right away, or is this something you want to build to make there a little bit stronger belief that Danielson could be the guy to take the belt off MJF? Do you have some title defenses happen before that in order to build a little bit more credibility as MJF, the defending champion?
I think right now it's stupid to assume anybody's going to take the title off him right now. I think that's the worst thing you have, but what you have to do is you got to add credible challengers to his championship to actually make his championship reign matter. We talk about Roman Reigns and his title reign right now, and he didn't beat just slums. He beat some of the top guys to earn that status. MJF has to start doing the same thing, and he can't do it by beating Orange Cassidy or QT Marshall or Johnny Handjob. He has to be the top guys.
I love that, a Johnny Handjob. That's a great name right there. Perfect.
But he needs to beat the Bryan Danielsons. He has to beat the John Moxleys. He has to beat the Adam Hangman Pages. He has to beat the Kenny Omegas. He has to beat the top names. Because the more top names he beats, and if he was to run that company dry with the people he beats for that title, to keep that title now becomes an even bigger bargaining chip for that bidding war of 2024 that he's been clamoring about for the better part of the last year.
I love that, the bidding war of 2024, and I love that part of this promo as well too. That this is nothing more to me than a bargaining chip when it comes to the right con finally call me, and I'm talking about jolly old Saint Nick is the way he put it too. This was just beautifully crafted, and everything MJF does is beautifully crafted. And you're right, it is silly to assume anyone take it off him, because I don't think there's that many credible enough built up stars in AEW at the moment. And I mean, throw shade at me, but after Moxley, Danielson, Jericho, sorry, like, is there enough named stars? Like, you say Hangman Adam Page, but yeah, they put him into the championship, but I wouldn't say that in terms of names he's up there right now. Like,
because here's a name that you have to do at some point. You have to do Wardlow. You just have to.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I think Samoa Joe is a credible name to go there. I even think, given the right story, a powerhouse Hobbs could be. I think Hook would be unbelievable. And if you want Hook to be a giant baby face, him versus MJF in like a year from now might be the feud that people are like, oh shit, this could be the guy that takes the title off MJF. Because of just exactly with the protection that they've been booking Hook as it is. Tell me that you're not thinking that this could be the guy. I think it very well could.
I think at one point I thought that, but I feel like they kind of pumped the brakes on Hook having any opportunity when they start putting him in comedy stuff. Like, I think that really can halter somebody's push. They had this guy that legitimately was getting over with what he was doing right away, and then they start putting him in with Danhausen. And again, do I find Danhausen amusing? Yes, in an entertainment level, turning on my YouTube channels, yes, Danhausen is phenomenal. Do I think that he's amusing as a tag team partner to a legitimate wrestler? Hell no. I think that this softened their opportunity to push Hook in the way that he should have been pushed, where he would be a viable threat. And I think that now they have to go back to the drawing board in order to get there. And it's going to take a while. And like you say, a year from now, fine. If they start working on it now and start pushing Hook in the right direction, a year from now, yes, that would be a great move and a great babyface feud for MJF, because MJF carries being a heel absolutely perfectly. And the fans want someone that they believe legitimately can fight this guy, slap that smirk off his damn face, and kick his ass. And that's what Hook could give you, as long as they start building and prepping for it and do it now.
Yeah, and I just think, like, too, like, if you want to give Hook like a 6-month start of just going back to that seriousness, I think that's all you need to do. Because I think a good 6 months in, and then all of a sudden he's back to where he initially was. Cool, we got there. Also names that we haven't talked about. You could see a Claudio at some point. Claudio always brings that believability right back into it. And then you just look at people in AEW and you're like, okay, what about anybody in the firm? Because that just initially has a story right there. Like, what about an all ego at Ethan Page? Maybe it's not like a realistic person to take the title off, but at the same time, also this could be a feud that we never thought we needed, but we loved. So I think there's a lot of people there. And this is also going to be one of those things. What about CM Punk? Don't tell me that the door's closed, because I don't believe that that's the case. When guys like Dax Harwood come flat out and say that he was one of the best guys in the locker room in his eyes, and he is as respected in the locker room as he is, there's a lot of polarizing opinions about CM Punk, but CM Punk versus MJF for that world title could be good business, and you'd be a fool not to entertain that.
Well, and again, how many people ever told Vince McMahon to go stuff and got the belt put back on them because it was good for business? It's one of those things
Well,
that
let me tell you
sometimes,
something, brother.
yeah, of course. But that's the difference maker right there, is that sometimes Tony Khan's going to have to put some of these things behind him and decide what is best for the company as a whole, as opposed to what is best for a few childlike MVP or EVPs or whatever they titled themselves as. But yeah, I mean,
Elite vice presidents.
elite vice presidents, Jesus. But yeah, the things are not off the table with Punk, so they shouldn't be. Because again, if you ever want to see Punk wrestle again, that's probably the only way you're going to do it outside of the independents. Because I really don't think that the going back to the WWE is ever going to happen. I mean, I know they say never, especially with Triple H in charge, but I think with CM Punk, I might just go ahead and say never, ever. Probably going to happen with the animosity between both parties there. And I just don't see what there is necessarily for him that works with what he wants to do over there. So that's my personal opinion. I don't see it happening the opposite way. So I think more likely, like you're saying, the door open there for him to come back and claim that opportunity against an MJF.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I just think when you're in a business and the opportunity to make money is on the table, I think you're just a dumb businessman if you don't entertain all those possibilities. So it's hard to say, and we don't know if there's going to be other names that join the AEW roster that could make a lot of sense there. Because again, like there could be some big names from Japan or New Japan that come down, and there could also be that rivalry of like, oh, I'm the face of New Japan. You say you hate New Japan? Okay, let's go, kind of a thing, right? Like, who's to say we don't see some of this stuff moving forward? I know the one thing that we won't see moving forward, and this has been right in this comment, and that is Eric Young at Impact Wrestling moving forward. We will not be seeing that. Because if we want to kill or talk about a good murder, Eric Young murdered.
Just flat out murdered, eh?
Never to return. He was stabbed, wasn't he?
So they just try to like mimic back in the territory days when people legitimately got stabbed at wrestling shows.
All I know is like from what I heard, it was fantastic.
Well, if you ever wanted to find out truly what happened on a show like that, I know the place you could do that at, and that's a little show called Making an Impact with Astrid Pizarro and also Cody Defoe. They do a wonderful job letting everybody know about what happened every single week on Impact, so check that out on Thursday nights following Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. And if you have a subscription to the Zone, you're in luck because Impact Wrestling is now going to be featured on the Zone. So I have now officially have access to Impact Wrestling. So
look at you.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be watching the Zone in a little bit. It's football, man.
Actually, you're just taking it all in. You're an Impact guy or an NXT guy, WWE guy. Apparently you're even a little bit of an AEW guy. I mean,
who would have thought, right?
For years, I was made to believe otherwise, though. So
I mean, I was manscaping my way around that product for the longest time, but now I go rogue and I watch what I want to watch.
That was fantastic wordplay. Just genius.
Thank you. Well, I've only slept for 90 minutes, so thank you.
That's all you need. Doctor recommended 90 minutes sleep a day.
Yeah, no, like it's to me, I was blown away that Impact Wrestling got this partnership with the Zone because I thought that was the perfect move for Tony Khan and Ring of Honor. And I was just blown away with that not being a thing for them. But congratulations to Impact Wrestling for doing this because holy cow, is this, I think, a game changer. Impact Wrestling is just making a lot of great maneuvers and a lot of great decisions right now. So, yeah, I'm very happy. They're talk about the ultimate underdog when it comes to wrestling promotions. I think that's Impact Wrestling right now.
And I feel like, again, because obviously I'm a fan of MLW, maybe that's why, but I feel like MLW and Impact seem to be sharing a bit of a space, almost like that third North American space, where they kind of on that same level, where they have a lot of talent that a lot of people care about, are really passionate about, and week by week they're putting out great content. The one thing I'll give the edge to on Impact Wrestling is that theirs is more of a live capacity. They have the pay-per-views and stuff like that. So that's where I think they have that slight edge over MLW. But damn it, if I wouldn't love the two companies to start working more together and everything too. I think that there'd be a lot of great cross-promotion, a lot of great shared talent that they could do between Impact and MLW.
Well, speaking of cross-promotion, we have a cross-promotion with WWE and Pro Wrestling Noah, as the Great Muta is going to be facing off against Shinsuke Nakamura. And on After the Bell podcast with Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves, Kevin Owens was the guest, asked about the potential of cross promotions and working with other people. And he said he absolutely loves the fact that now he doesn't look at this as a potential just closed door. He's like, yeah, I'm very aware that it might not happen, but to think that stuff like this is actually possible now, it's absolutely incredibly entertaining and just eye-opening and exciting for somebody like me, because there is a lot of other places I would even like to go, not even just have a match, but have an appearance, have a promo, just do something with from my past, and that's pretty exciting. So absolutely amazing that we're seeing WWE and Pro Wrestling Noah doing something together, but the fact that there might be more in the future, that's exciting to me.
Yeah, I mean, these possibilities are endless at this point. I'm glad that WWE isn't just completely blowing their load on doing this. It's like, hey, we've opened up this. So
come on, I think busting a nut is the more appropriate term here.
I'm glad they didn't bust a nut over this one and go, hey, look, now that we've done it once, let's do it every other week and have, full on pay-per-views where we talk about, crossing over completely. If they do it bit by bit, they've got the references that they're making on commentary. They've got, Carl Anderson working New Japan spots while working WWE spots. And then they put this match with the great Muta against Shinsuke Nakamura, which I'm sure for Shinsuke, in fact, is a very big dream match that he thought was not going to be possible while under contract for the WWE, and really opens a lot of doors in that sense. If they do it sparingly like this, it makes it interesting and makes you have those opportunities for matches you thought you were never going to get the opportunity to see, and they can be used to be promoted big time. Again, we might see that as a Pro Wrestling Noah thing, but what if in return, WWE is then allowed to take that opportunity to book a match? Hey, maybe that secondary match happens on a WWE PLE, or maybe they go over to Japan and they do a show over Japan sometime, and they can promote a match where they're going to bring in someone like a Muta to take on Shinsuke on their own programming.
Now here's the question: Is Muta in the Hall of Fame?
You know what? I'm going to check that out, actually. I can't remember.
Because if not, would this not be the right time to induct the Great Muta in the WWE Hall of Fame?
It would be the great timing, for sure. But let me just double check the stats on that.
To me, it's just a...
Sorry to interrupt. Not yet, but rumor is that the Great Muta is likely to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, either class of 2023 or 2024 is the conversation right now. So it sounds like it's in the works, and that would make a lot of sense with them having him work Shinsuke at the Pro Wrestling Noah show.
Yeah. And with kind of this being his retirement tour, like, why not? Like, it just seems like a natural fit, right? We've seen the Great Muta do some stuff with WCW in the past, and now with WWE holding the rights to, and owning the rights to WCW, it just makes sense that they honor somebody like him. And the one thing about Triple H that we know is he definitely likes to honor the past. He doesn't forget about it. He honors it. And he was definitely the man that kind of brought that relationship back with Vince, just with Bruno Sammartino. So to think that, he could be that bridge gap for a lot of other people, and just with the relationship between WWE and other companies or other people themselves, like, I just think that is so crucial to having a more important WWE in the future. So I'm excited to see what else is out there and kind of what else we're going to see. But man, to think that maybe WrestleMania could have some pro wrestling Noah a part of it, or even NXT, like think about that kind of stuff. Like it's amazing. Maybe this is kind of how they start NXT Japan.
Yeah.
That could be a very real possibility.
It's a stepping stone in the right direction. And keeping in mind, Triple H did announce that he'd like to see things happening around WrestleMania, shows happening around WrestleMania that don't necessarily have to be the actual WrestleMania main card shows themselves.
Yeah.
Whether he means having other promotions putting on some shows that will include WWE talent, or he means things such as the Undertaker's one-man show or Dead Man Show, I believe that it's being referred to. Things like that happening around WrestleMania weekend to really bring in the hype and make people interested. Again, this is the Hollywood. And you talk about NXT, there's potential for NXT to do a show that weekend. You can start thinking maybe there are some other companies that they'll work closely with that are going to be doing shows in the air, and they say, hey, look, we might not be utilizing A, B, and C wrestlers on the WrestleMania card this weekend. Maybe it would be a great thing for them to happen to show up on a few of these other cards to really keep that buzz around the WWE be the main focus of the entire weekend.
100% agree. I'm also going to point out that they did a terrible job of not getting the pun Dead Man Talking as the name of these shows.
I like that one better.
And then you have that you're going to pay, but instead, like as a theme, it's like, you gotta say, and then they just make a whole different theme song, but done in that same tone about him just talking, and it'd be hilarious.
I would definitely be interested in checking out that show, but I like your name a hell of a lot better than Dead Man Talking. I think that's he's got to start himself a podcast afterwards and go Dead Man Talking. Like that's just brilliant.
I mean, I try.
Yeah,
I do some of my best work when I feel like a zombie. So
when you've had only 90 minutes of sleep because you're out there and kicking ass and taking names all over the country.
I've been known in the past that when I'm not sleeping, I tend to have some just good ideas because sometimes my brain and my mouth filter is a good thing. Usually it's a bad thing, but sometimes it is a good thing. But I've also been told that I come up with a lot of good creative ideas when I'm taking a bath, of all things. So who would have thought?
You get some good thinking done in there. It's a little bit of isolation. You're relaxed. You're chilled out. You probably put some some snow fairy bubble bath into there, just because we like to smell good afterwards and stuff like that. So and you just relax and you're taking in the aroma and you're like, yeah, I got some great ideas. So
I'm not gonna get in the details of my bath, but I can just say that it's an experience.
It's a premium live event.
I wouldn't go that far, but it's something. Yeah, it's an experience. I'll just say that much. I don't think a lot of people need the visual of this either. So,
well, I've already destroyed their Sunday.
Yeah, that's fair.
Damn you, Bobby.
Speaking of washing away,
where are we going with this one?
I have no idea. I'm just saying words. I'm hoping that in
due
time I could actually think of something. But
wash away, like we want to wash away the memory of Ronda Rousey, apparently, because everyone wants her fired. No, I'm kidding. I was actually, I was kind of
perfect. Concerned. There we go. Let's talk about that. Hashtag fire Ronda Rousey. To the point where she got Brian Kendrick back with the company because she likes the way he trains her.
Yeah. I didn't think Brian Kendrick was getting a job back with any company after everything went down, but
he really is a man with the plan, isn't he?
That's right. Hey, hold on. She didn't get Brian Kendrick back. She got the Brian Kendrick back.
Either that or she loves herself some Spanky.
Well, maybe.
But yeah, it's quite amazing that it just seems very, at least, kind of correct that Ronda Rousey understands that there's still work in her game. So I mean, I give her props for understanding that she's not there yet, and then she still needs help, and going to somebody that she knows she learns very well from, and that is Brian Kendrick, who let's not be like, we might not agree with everything he does, but his ability to teach wrestling is actually quite well. So if this does help Ronda become a better performer and wrestler, I'm not against it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Ronda, you couldn't have just learned this from, I don't know, anyone in the PC?
Everybody else that's been given a shot trying to teach you the entire time.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, Drew Gulak wasn't good enough for you? Come on, girl. Let's go.
You get comfortable with certain people, I think, is what it comes down to. And I mean, if that's what's going to help her improve,
down and open up those ears.
if this helps her get comfortable and improve her game, then fantastic. That's exactly what's needed. I'm not going to start agreeing with #fire Ronda Rousey. I mean, I think she's awful. She's not improved her game, but could she? Maybe, hopefully, like that is the hope. She's now working with Shayna. That's a plus. If she's getting back people she appreciates and can train her better, okay, double plus. She's working on those things, and I think that's fantastic. And as far as everyone's opinion of the eyeshadow, by the way, that can just piss right off, that whole thing. Like, I almost considered putting on some Ronda inspired eyeshadow here this morning.
It does suck though. Like, it is not pleasant to look at.
Oh, but I mean, I don't know. Now that everybody hates it so much, I might have to start wearing that exact same look. I'm busting out. I think I think it would really accent my beautiful eyes.
I mean, I think it would look great on you.
Oh,
it just doesn't look great on her. It's like that pro wrestling look doesn't look great on Dana Brooke, but I mean,
sing for Dana Brooke.
Whatever. Oh. Speaking of Dana Brooke, she had a match with one Zoe Stark on Main Event. If people don't get a chance to watch Main Event lately, they've been using a lot of NXT star power on Main Event, and it's quite well. They had Cedric Alexander versus Joe Gacy last week, and it was absolutely amazing. I know they've had people like JD McDonough, they've had Alba Fire, they've had Wendy Chu, they've had Carmelo Hayes on in the past. Just absolutely amazing stuff. So if you have an opportunity to watch some Main Event and see a little sprinkle of NXT in there, you won't be disappointed.
And speaking of things that you can watch, you can now check out the replay of the latest edition of the Ladies Wrestling Showcase, as Mel's pointing out there, to see what the ladies thought about the makeup. And I could agree more. I mean, we could be a couple of dudes talking about it, but I don't want to dwell on it. I think it's, my personal opinion is, I just think it needs to be left alone when it comes to a bunch of, out of shape guys talking on the internet about this shit. So,
well, I'm doing it on a stream, so I'm good. But okay, let's ask Mel. Mel, with the an Astra Pizarro emote, say that it sucks. With a OLE emote, say that it was good.
I love how you throw the use of our emotes out for that exact reason. That's the only way right there. That's the only
plugging the emotes, getting an answer. Yeah, I'm thinking.
Oh, you're all thinking. In fact, that was so good. It gets one of these right here.
Yeah.
We haven't done one of those for a while, so yeah, I mean, it had to be done. In fact, there's something else that hasn't happened this episode at all, and I just wonder how we're going to find the time, find the way to fit it in. I don't know about you, but there's got to be something.
We got time.
We got time. Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're not going anywhere. We're on your damn screens as long as you want us here.
This is the unfortunate bad timing of the 90 minutes of sleep I have. I do have like a, oh yeah. There's that too. Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
and Mel's response, and now our girl needs to subscribe.
Well, that would help our numbers.
I mean, if you subscribe, Mel, thank you for pointing this out. If you were to subscribe here at our local establishment on the Twitch, you will go through this beautiful show without any ads and even more emotes. So it
Yeah.
just shows how important it is to subscribe. Plus, we also get paid, and that allows us to add more content and more creative content to the show.
That's right.
So that just also helps us if you want full transparency. So, and we can also use that said money to go to rogueenergy.com and get some more of those beautiful tubs of energy that they have. So, yeah, it'd be great. I mean, I could also use a nice t-shirt.
You know, like that Rogue Energy?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Because, OLE pods, man, like 10%, that's great. But I also need a little bit of the frog skin to place an order. So please subscribe and...
or wait, hold on. Do you mean this Rogue Energy? That one there? That same one?
Yeah, I like being part of the Rogue Nation. It's a little bit of a... It's a nice feeling. Yeah, it's a nice feeling to be... yeah. It's a great place to feel booked.
I missed the question. I think we did too. Was there a question on the table?
I'm on 90 minutes of sleep. I forget very easily. I don't remember.
and I'm stoned 95% of the time, so I definitely don't remember. Oh, the Rhonda makeup. Oh yeah, Rhonda's makeup. Yeah, I don't know. I just think, yeah.
To be fair, I asked you the question, Mel.
Oh, the emote reply. Yeah, you did ask the emote reply. That's right. Yeah, it was to do with the.
That's not on me.
Yeah, that's right. We're steering the train the right way, I think.
But clearly, I'm so awake that I was.
We forgot the question was even.
But yeah, no. Okay.
Okay.
I have a.
You got a thing?
I got a thing here.
I found one too. You know. Okay. Breaking news.
We have breaking news. I have a big question to ask.
Okay.
Yeah. Who is Roman Reigns dropping his championships to? The breaking news is the question that we all need to know.
The question we all need.
Because I got absolutely fuck all. So that's why.
Who?
Yeah.
Maybe you.
Who do you think Roman Reigns is actually going to drop it to? Will it be The Rock? Will it be Kevin Owens? Will it be Sami Zayn? Sheamus potentially? Cody Rhodes? Matt Cardona? Barry Horowitz? Aldo Montoya? Who?
To me, it's Cody Rhodes. And I think could be as early as Elimination Chamber, depending on if they want Roman defending at WrestleMania or not. But, oh, look at that.
Dexter Lumis is a contracted Raw wrestler. I could have used that as the breaking news, and I totally effed up.
Way to go. Now you burnt up your only breaking news of the day, and now mine's going to be that much cooler when I get slided in here. You know. Yeah.
I've been putting over people pretty much all weekend, so yeah.
Yeah. In fact, maybe I should just do this to you right now. Dustin Rhodes says that 2023 will be his final year as an active pro wrestler. Guess you should have used that one then. But I will use it instead. Dustin Rhodes, the legendary in-ring performer known to many as Goldust, going to be stepping away from in-ring action as of 2023. What a career this man has given us. Done so many great matches over his time. And I hope that by taking a step away from in-ring action, he will continue to work in some sort of capacity backstage, helping out young talent and everything, working that direction, because I feel that he brings a big level of service to no matter what company it is that he is helping out. I think that he is absolutely phenomenal in all aspects of how he handles his business. And all I want to say is congratulations to an amazing in-ring career for Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah. Before going into it, what was your favorite Dustin Rhodes? Jeepers Murphy, Perry breaking everything. Breaking. This is also why we need the subscriptions. I gotta pay for the shit I break, all right?
Yeah, that's right. Cameras aren't cheap, damn it.
No, my camera is totally away from everything. I just hit a table, which is actually nice because I inherited a new desk from upstairs. So it's okay. I can't break this table and be fine. I'm just creating space for the new desk.
I like how you say you inherited it from upstairs, not like you inherited it from somewhere
To
else.
be fair, it was mine. And then we just kept it upstairs. And then now we got new desks up there. So I was like, yeah, cool. I'm going to bring this one down. But yeah, no, what would be your favorite, whether it's Dustin Rhodes, Goldust, Relic, anything like that? What's your favorite Dustin Rhodes memory?
Well, I'll give big, massive credit to him and Cody when they fought in AEW at the beginning. That match was massive. Memory-wise, his feud with Razor Ramon stands out like a sore thumb, because this is one of the first times I took note of Dustin Rhodes, aka Goldust at the time, and that still sticks in my mind just how in-depth that feud became, how uneasy it made Razor Ramon feel, and how much it made Goldust this epic heel without him ever really necessarily doing anything wrong. It's just the time and age of which that Goldust was presented. This came as an uneasy character that was meant to get under your skin, and it worked so beautifully because the timing couldn't have been better for him to come in as the character Goldust.
I'm also going to redeem myself later, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. But one of the amazing things I feel about Dustin Rhodes, the performer, is he's very, very charismatic in the way that he knows also how to reinvent himself time in and time out. Whether it was the Hollywood Backlot Brawl, which I might actually go as my favorite moment of Goldust, that with all the O.J. Simpson references, whether it's the Ford Bronco and the gold Cadillac that they had at that point, but that chase in California was absolutely amazing. But just, man, that outside of the Iron Man match at WrestleMania 12, the thing that you looked at and stood out to me the most was that Hollywood Backlot Brawl with Roddy Piper and Goldust. And I just think at the end of the day, that was one of the greatest segments in that whole show. And just having him be completely just defiled.
yeah.
To make sense, where he gets beat up so bad by Roddy Piper to the point where, he just strips him and he's wearing the women underwear to show just how erogenous he actually is. But, man, the hard-hitting shots in that, the realism that it brought, it made it a little uncomfortable to watch. It had a dramatic feel to it with the chase, but then it also had a fulfillment feel at the end. To me, that was the epitome of pro wrestling and how much emotion I felt and how many different emotions I felt. But his ability to evolve over the years and remain relevant, and just, come back. I mean, we all know his addiction battles over the course, whether it's drugs, alcohol, both at times. But despite that, his love and his desire and his passion for professional wrestling always remained. And he was still able to do a lot of great things, whether it's be a great mentor, whether it be a great brother, whether it was just, come back and become still meaningful as a professional wrestler. Just a resilient human being and performer, and one that this generation would not understand because there are so many things about what he's done over the course of his career that so many people would have tried to cancel now. But
Well,
that man is a true icon, a true Hall of Famer, and I would love, absolutely love, to see Cody Rhodes induct Goldust in the Hall of Fame in Hollywood, California.
and that would be phenomenal if that was potentially going to happen. Or even if it doesn't happen in Hollywood, if it just happens in general, it would be a nice touch as well too. One thing I want to bring up as well too is when a lot of people forget about that they didn't realize they wanted at the time, but once it happened, we enjoyed it, was his partnership with Booker T.
Mm-hmm.
This was a very, very surprising partnership that we weren't expecting to enjoy, but the chemistry that these two guys brought to the table when they were partnered up was untouchable at the time. This was one of the better segments that was going in the WWF at the time, and I remember it quite fondly. I think that Booker and Goldust, I think they almost, like, if you want to have a good little talk show, I think those two would be quite entertaining together as they were back then. Maybe it'll actually ground Booker into not going a little too off the rails with his own conversations that he tends to do with his own speech.
Yeah. And this is a guy that I would really hope to see back in WWE one day, just from a, someone that can work at the PC and help groom the new talent in. Like, the plethora of information and knowledge that this man has, whether it was inherited throughout his career or inherited through his father, who might have been one of the most creative brains in pro wrestling, and Dusty Rhodes. And then also with, working with so many new talent. Like, I remember when the WWE ECW started off, and they were showing that prior to the SmackDown taping. And I remember seeing a young man named Sheamus kind of come into the fold, and he had matches with Goldust, and it was amazing. Him and Sheamus somehow just worked. It was a resurgence of Goldust, and then it was a beautiful identifying of Sheamus. So his ability just to help create stars, super underrated. His book Crossroads, you can definitely grab on Amazon. Absolutely great read. One of the things I learned was that he always went into a match looking at the crowd, seeing who he felt was the least invested in kind of what was going on at that point. And his goal was to make that person the most invested when he was walking out. And it's something and a piece of information that I take to my days right now. So just absolutely amazing, and nothing but pure respect for Dustin Rhodes. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I'm right there with you again. Like, nothing but the most respect, not only as an in-ring performer, but just in general as a human being, from what I can tell. It's sad when you say somebody comes to an end of their in-ring time, but again, this guy went a lot longer than anybody had anticipated. The joke became that he was almost like a Benjamin Button, like he was aging in reverse, because as Dustin Rhodes got older, it seemed that whatever he was doing, and I know a lot of that, I believe, was a lot of his work doing DDP yoga and stuff like that. He started taking that on quite heavily, but his ability to maneuver within the ring only improved over time. This is a guy that didn't slow down as the age started coming in. He just started working smarter. And in working smarter, his stuff looked a lot tighter and a lot more interesting as he got up there. And again, it allowed people to make sure that they didn't see that age coming through on him. And it was a fantastic thing. And just a credit to this guy and the amount of time that he has put in. I hope he does get that Hall of Fame induction, whether it's, this year or next year or coming up soon. He definitely deserves it, and I believe that's the right move to have Cody be the one to induct him.
Yeah, and it would just be fitting, right? Like, it just a nice little send-off to him. And absolutely just a beautiful sight to see two brothers again. And who would ever forget the moment where they became tag champs for the first time, defeating the Shield, and just a great story that was. And yeah, we don't need to talk about Stardust and Cultist, but at the same time,
it happened.
Come on, we all enjoyed it a lot more than we wanted to admit.
Yeah, I'm sure nobody would say a no if they were to reunite. But again, yes, it's that was my breaking news of the day, so I thought I'd fit that in there, and it became quite a topic. But what else is going on in the world right now?
Well, I'm going to redeem myself.
3 breaking news is in one episode. Damn, we're doing good here on Buffalo.
Technically, the first one didn't count. There was no breaking news. But no, for anybody who isn't aware of the fact that, yes, I am a professional wrestler, but as of this Saturday, over at the Real Canadian Wrestling event, I will be facing Lumberjack Larry in what will be my final wrestling match. So, yeah, retirement galore going on. So, yeah, if you people are in the area right now and you want to see me just put my my gear on for the last time, if I'm smart enough to bring it, which has happened before, yeah, come check out Real Canadian Wrestling over in Edmonton, Alberta this Saturday on December 10th, where I will be facing Lumberjack Larry in the final farewell. So that is my breaking news now. Admitting it for the first time. I mean, I did say it last night in the last break, but at the same time, not really public. So there we go. Redeemed myself.
Redeemed big time. Yeah.
Totally redeemed himself.
Totally redeemed yourself. Yes. Beautifully said. But it is a shame that you're coming to an end of your in-ring career, of course. It would have been nice if that could have continued on. But again, everybody knows when it's time for them to, to step aside and work themselves into a new type of role in their life. And I know that you're starting to do that quite comfortably here with everything that we're doing over at OLE and all the different streaming that you're putting out there. And again, if it's your time, then it's your time. And I hope that each and every person out there that can make it to that matchup is able to do so. I wish I could do the same, but I am booked that night already. Prairie Pro Wrestling have a show this coming Saturday. It's also a shame we never were able to make that connection. Yeah, you just worked last night for the other PPW, the 3 best call letters in Western Canada, just about. I mean, RCW's good too. I like them. They're good thieves.
But yeah, no. So yeah, anything else in this week you want to talk about? I mean, yeah, I know we haven't really talked much about the Bloodline and Sami Zayn, but I mean, I felt in the last week and 2, we've really gone into detail about that.
They've been the subject of busting out a little bit much lately, haven't they?
Yeah. So, anything else you want to talk about?
I got nothing in particular. I mean, nothing written down. But then again, did I ever write anything down? Not anymore. We just wing it because that's what we do here on Bustin' Out. That's a busting out sort of way. So if anybody in the comment section has anything they want us to talk about, feel free to drop on in here at any point in time and talk about it. But hey, like outside of professional wrestling, because we don't have to focus strictly on professional wrestling, but any news stories, sports stories, anything in particular that have caught your attention over the last week?
Sports stories, not too much. No. I mean, I'm just trying to stay, like alive when I watch my sports teams nowadays. Like, again, I already refer to my hockey team as Cardiac Kids, so that's great. Because I do such a great job of keeping my heart calm as it is. So that's fantastic. My football team doesn't play today, so the drama is going to fill. I get to watch a lot of teams I don't like now today. So,
are you gonna hate watch them, or are you gonna actually get some sleep as you're working off 90 minutes so far?
It depends, because fantasy football, man, it really can be a dilemma on Sundays. So
it's one of those things. Football Sunday, you gotta love it, eh? My football Sunday is a whole different type of football Sunday, as you've come to know. But again, the World Cup has been off in great fashion as of late. We're down to the round of 16, so only 16 teams left in the knockout stages of this cup. Already 3 have advanced. So, of course, the Netherlands, Argentina, and France, as of this morning, have gone through. Netherlands are going to be taking on Argentina in a quarterfinal matchup coming up on Friday, while France's match is yet to be determined. We have later today England taking on Senegal. Of course, I come from the family, so again, England is going to be my go-to team there, but Senegal have been playing really well, and there's been a lot of underdog teams in here that have done really well, including Morocco is another one to be watching out for. So a lot of teams that really could pull off these upsets at any given time. So you can't just bank on teams being ranked higher to be the decider within this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, the rankings are there for a reason, but they're not the final dictator of how good a team is. They're just an idea. And you don't want to take anybody's too lightly just because of a bad ranking, because you never know who's going to have their best game of the year. Could just be against you, so you got to be ready. That's why you play the game, man. Why you play the game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, as I'm saying, it's why you play the game, because you just never know. I mean, it's why we see a lot in sports, like those upsets, because sometimes people just take those the nights off when they're playing a bad team, and it comes back and bites them right in the arse.
Right in it.
Right.
That's it.
Takes a bite out of the meaty part of the arse.
But, I think before we go any further with our current on stuff, there's a lot of kick-ass stuff always going on here at our local establishment. And I know I threw together the this week calendar a little bit quickly here this morning. I should mention before I even play this, again, there will be other shows that didn't make the calendar just due to time that are also going to be on here. But one of those being Paramindful. Episode 4 is going to be hitting our local establishment tomorrow and also on their YouTube channel. So make sure you're checking that out. But this is what you got coming up this week here in OLE.
To me, like a voice inside my head. It's like a fight that I cannot win. Falling, frustrated, intoxicated. I know I'm losing myself. I can't take it anymore. But I'm not done. I'm not done. I won't give up until the end.
So yes, that's what you got coming up in our local establishment this week. There will be a lot of other things, so make sure to tune in and check out everything we got going on, and make sure, again, go back to that video, check those QR codes, and follow us on all social media platforms to find out everything that goes down. It's not just the YouTube and the Twitch channels, but you can actually find different programs from our local establishment and people who contribute to our local establishment happening within social media as well too, whether it be video shorts, different things, reviews, all sorts. They're always popping up here. We're always having a good time, and we're doing it because you guys continue to tune in, and we love every single one of you and the support you provide to us and to all of our friends here at our local establishment. And again, we've said it 1,000 times before, and we'll continue to say it every week. If you ever want to have some sort of involvement, you want to be a guest spot on one of the shows, you've got a show idea, anything like that, throw it our way so that we can talk to you. We want to talk to you because, again, this is our local establishment, not just us on screen, but every single person's. We want this to feel like the place you go and everybody knows your name. I see what I did there. But that's what we want you guys to do. So come on in, join us. I'm busting out. Come show us how to get off the rails. Reach out to myself and Chris Parrish. We'd love to have you on at any point in time.
Yeah, and it's always great to help expand our community, and that's an important thing. We want to expand it. We want to meet new people. We want to also try to help other people grow, as well as grow ourselves. So I mean, we're all in this together, and we know that a fight and a battle is better suited with allies than with enemies. So yeah, just give us a shout. Give us just let us know, because if we don't know you, we can't work with you.
Yeah, and again, like Astrid saying, loves Melball's Mix and Marvel Talk. Those are two great shows we got going over here that have nothing to do with pro wrestling, including Paramindful, all things spooky ooky-ish, which is going to go up tomorrow night, episode 4. They've been kicking ass over there with that show as well too. So we got a lot of great content for people of all wakes of life here at our local establishment, and we're always looking for a way to expand that content as well too. And as we talk about our local establishment and helping others out, as you'll see there, we will be rating G Girl Gaming. So please show love and support. Go in there the OLE way. Give a big old Ole over there. So don't just go away immediately at the end of the show. Make sure to go say hello to our good friend G Girl Gaming over there. That's delivering the goods every single week. Melball Sobriety doesn't like Melball. It's a taste test. It's not an unsobering. It's just a sampling. It's it's all good. It's all good. Spooky ooky-ish. Yes, that's the tag for the Paramindful. It's the spooky ooky-ish, as they say.
So for the people watching here on Twitch, we will be rating G Girl Gaming right away. Anybody who is watching us on the YouTube, we will be closing out this show as per norm. So be prepared to give and support G Girl Gaming the love, the support that you'd like to give us. Because again, as it says in the comments, that is the OLE way. So in about 5 seconds time, you will be directed to G Girl Gaming.
Aside from that, Parrish, where can people find you this coming week?
Hopefully nowhere. I like privacy. No, but if it's online and if it's on the socials, then it's that's okay. On the Twitter, it's at Chris Parrish. On the Instagram, it's Chris.Parrish. On the Twitch, as some of you are a little bit aware, it's at the Chris Parrish. And if you follow me at youtube.com/at Chris Parrish, yeah, it is that at logo, Chris Parrish.
Yeah. And then I guess we're probably just getting over to that time where you got to find out where you're going to find me. So I'll just throw that right up there for you guys. And again, you'll find me on Thursday nights with my partner in crime, Papa Spokes, giving you Fusion. On Wednesday nights, now we've debuted it. Season 2 is rocking and rolling with myself and Carl Carafel on Beats and Beatdowns. This week we're into the letter L, and that's going to be for Lillian Garcia. So check out what we got going down there. And then again, busting out Sundays, as always. This is always the big one. My brunch buster brother right there and I go off the rails each and every Sunday, and we want you guys to stop by and enjoy it. But yes, you. But as Mel says, thank you, gentlemen. That's going to bring this episode of Busting Out to a close. So in the meantime and in between time, take care, and we're going to see you guys next Sunday. Bye for now. See you soon.